3. AITA for keeping a promise to my kids at the expense of my stepdaughter. Update. Wow, hi all. I did not expect this to blow up, nor did I expect to be posting again after only 24 hours. A lot has happened in that time. First, I want to address some information that was previously left out in my original post. It seems I am not a very good writer. I also apologize in advance for using a lot of lists in this post. It helps me think to have things written out. 1. Aiden is a boy. I accidentally wrote 15F, but I fixed that. My mistake. 2. Both my husband and I were unaware of the dynamic in our household. We both work long hours during the week and don't spend much time together at home. For context, my work schedule is 8 6-monthers. I have Fridays and Sundays off, and the option to come in on Saturdays when I wish to. My kids and I go to sleep around 8 to 9. Elizabeth stays up a little later, and my husband goes to sleep around 7. He works 12-hour shifts from 6 every day and wakes up for work around 5. He also has Fridays and Sundays off. I usually plan for the weekends on Monday, which we typically are out of the house for. We as in me always, my kids, stepdaughter, and hubby. Elizabeth's mother Bailey is in jail and has been for 5 months. She committed a small crime and was sentenced to a year. She keeps in contact with Elizabeth via phone calls, letters, and visitation. Saturdays are usually spent now with me and Elizabeth going to visit Bailey, unless I need to work. Her F there doesn't bring her. My kids and Elizabeth did get along. The exclusion doesn't happen during family trips or when I'm around. Sarah has a car, but Elizabeth doesn't, though she has a license. Sarah has been working since she was 15, and I agreed that I would pay half insurance while Sarah pays the other half gas. I paid for most of the cost, but Sarah helped, and a lot of the other girls' parents' kids chipped in as well. I am more strict with my kids than my husband is with Elizabeth. They have a curfew, grade expectations, safety regulations, etc. I think that's it, but I might add some if I think of anything else. I am also going to address the previous points. These are not justifications, just how I see them along with more clarification. Sarah drives Aiden around but not Elizabeth because Aiden does not have a license and has multiple outside activities. Elizabeth drives either mine or my husband's car. Sarah and Aiden decided to have the 2 bedrooms across the house from Sarah. Originally, Aiden and Elizabeth would have had them, but our house has 2 master bedrooms and 2 regular bedrooms. Sarah was going to have one of the masters, but she insisted Elizabeth take it, her reasoning being she won't have to share a bathroom with her stepbrother. The 2 masters are on the main floor, the regular rooms are on the 2nd floor. Sarah did not invite Elizabeth on her birthday trip to Cedar Point despite them having the same friend group. This was stated in point 8. Sarah spends money buying Aiden gifts but not Elizabeth because Sarah earns her own money and can spend it as she pleases. Aiden refuses to allow Elizabeth to use his technology. He and Sarah are both gamers, but Aiden is 10x more invested in it than Sarah. Sarah and Aiden only do things Elizabeth doesn't enjoy while at home or stop when Elizabeth wants to join. This is not sure but definitely not okay. Aiden refuses to cook for Elizabeth. Aiden cooked a lot as a kid and developed a passion for it. He cooks dinner for the entire family, including Elizabeth, and will cook separate things on Sarah's request, like lunch or breakfast, and she will also buy him ingredients for new recipes either of them wish to try. Sarah bought all 3 of them locks for their bedroom doors, which my husband claims was only to make it look like Sarah did something nice for Elizabeth. I also see no issue with this. Privacy is important, and all 3 installed their locks. I spoke with all 3 kids last night separately and told them all to write a list of things they want to address in today's family meeting. I found out a lot that absolutely shocked me when I spoke privately. For the family meeting, we all sat down in the living room. I asked Elizabeth to speak first since she is the one who was upset and without explanation for her behavior. She reiterated the statements above and added some things to her list. Elizabeth's list included movie nights upstairs without her, refusing to drive her to school leaving without her, Sarah refusing to invite her to hang out with their friends or lying about where she was going, Sarah having a group chat without her, refusing to even attempt a sibling relationship with her, putting locks on their doors and using the bathroom to be able to visit each other, hang out, and gaming without her. Elizabeth said she felt as if they hated her and wanted her gone. She said she is just as worthy of a parent as Sarah and Aiden were, and how it's unfair that we get to be a family and she doesn't have one. Sarah very rudely asked if she honestly felt she has any less of a family than she and Aiden do. Elizabeth was going to say something else, but my husband stepped in and asked Sarah to read her list. Though Sarah told me last night about what Elizabeth had been doing, I didn't expect how bluntly she would bring it up. Sarah's list included breaking into their bedrooms and stealing their stuffed food, insisting on sharing clothes matching, insisting on a sibling relationship when already declined by both. following her around school and forcing herself into Sarah's friend group despite being told multiple times to leave them alone, threatening to go to teachers me and hubby. If they didn't, stealing and then ruining Sarah's makeup, telling my kids they should be happy their died because now they have her dad and a sister, making inappropriate comments towards anime characters out loud while watching together. This includes minors. Insisting Aiden has a crush on her, getting handsy with Aiden, and then getting defensive when Sarah intervenes, calls her out for doing so, purchasing 2 fun items and giving one to Sarah after she confessed to a crush on TV, throwing a fit whenever she loses in a game or any form of competition, refusing to study, spend time on school, and then complaining when she doesn't get good grades, expecting me to step up and do everything for her, even though I do not do those things for even my own kids, instead of her there. Constantly being late getting ready for school and then being upset they don't wait for her. Flirting with Sarah's boyfriend at the time because sisters share everything and refusing to get a job or do anything worthwhile, while being jealous of both kids' accomplishments. When she was done, I asked Aiden if Elizabeth was really trying to touch him. He didn't answer at first, but after a moment said yes. Elizabeth denied it immediately, but Sarah shut her down and said she wasn't finished speaking. Sarah told Elizabeth that she was a disgusting human being, that she thinks she can get away with anything she wants, but she can't. None of their friends like her and wouldn't be around her if Elizabeth didn't make them. That she was spoiled and entitled. That if she ever tried to do anything with her brother, Sarah and everyone else would make her life a living hell. I stopped Sarah there, as I don't tolerate threats of violence. Elizabeth said it's not fair, that she and Sarah have similar interests, and that she's only treated worse because she's ugly and Sarah isn't. When you do it, it's cool. When I do it, it's trashy and weird. Sarah argued back, saying it doesn't have anything to do with her looks. She's just a bad person. Elizabeth brought up how Sarah is the bad one, purposefully excluding her, spending time with me separately, refusing to acknowledge her in the house she lives in, refusing to accept her and her there as family, that they both lost a parent. Sarah, my dad is dead. He's never coming back. Your mom is in jail. You speak with her daily, see her every week. It's not the same at all, Elizabeth. It is the same. I share my dad. You're just bitching that you have to share your mom now. Sarah, at least my dad didn't choose to leave me. Your mom had a choice and I can see why she chose it. Elizabeth slapped Sarah. Aiden punched Elizabeth. My husband shoved Aiden into a mirror hung on the wall. I started screaming at my husband to keep his hands off my children while telling my kids to go pack a bag. The kids ran off. Elizabeth followed them. My husband and I were screaming at each other. I could hear Elizabeth pounding on their doors and crying. After a lot of yelling, my husband slapped me. Then Sarah started screaming at Elizabeth. Apparently Aiden was putting the bags in the car, and the girls disappeared. I found them in my bedroom fighting because Sarah was packing a bag for me. I told Sarah to go wait in the car while I packed. She hesitantly obeyed. I packed my bag while my husband and Elizabeth were screaming at me, then left. Sarah was on the curb in the driver's seat, so I let her drive away and then told her to switch with me. My son had to be taken to the hospital as the mirror had cut him. First comment. Good grief. I'm glad you're all safe. Definitely file charges. Make sure you get copies of the medical records. The hospital should have reported it and had police taking a report while kiddo got stitches. ABSE of a minor isn't something they typically disregard. Seek a restraining order and use the resources available for victims. A friend had a similar situation and she got to move back home and was awarded a victim's advocate, a lawyer for help pressing charges and going through the process, and a divorce attorney. Yes, if you make more than legal aid will allow, you'll pay for the divorce attorney yourself, but use all resources available and use their referrals when you have to pay out of pocket. This exists for people in your situation for a reason. My friend was advised to send copies of the police report and PFA to husband's ex. No direct contact, just use the mail system. You should ask about this as well. Not only does this involve her and her child, but friend's ex was able to fill in a lot of blanks that are being used as history and proof that this isn't an isolated event. Your STBX's ex may say he sucked, but nothing like that, but she also has a child that's looking at having an incarcerated dad and needs to get her ducks in a row. If said child isn't dealing with legal problems of her own, they could all get a release date together as one happy dysfunctional family. Report both to the police. Your husband isn't the only AB seer and your daughter deserves justice too. Seek protection and assistance. You can get reimbursed for the hotel, financial assistance to pay his bills while unable to live in his home, free therapy for all 3 of you, and more just by asking for charges. You aren't alone. Second comment. So you learned that your son was being touched inappropriately by your stepdaughter and thought it would be a good idea to have a family meeting about it instead of addressing it as the parent. Also, during this meeting, you were all sitting down talking, and then at some point the kids are arguing and they stand up and get closer to each other, and neither you nor your husband step in and break it up before it gets physical. For this to happen the way you described, they all must have been standing and in close proximity to each other. How did that happen? Also, and the biggest thing here, your son got cut so bad that he sustained a concussion and needed 17 stitches, but you didn't immediately rush him to the hospital? You told him to get up and go upstairs to pack a bag, and he was able to while bleeding profusely. You had him go wait in the car while you packed a bag? This is clearly fake.